I think my favorite memory of my mother was the time we spent together. We shopped together, we talked on the phone, we could call each other every day, twice a day. We just loved talking to each other, sending emails and pictures. I would take pictures of Alina, whatever she was doing, and Mother loved seeing what she was doing at that very moment, even if it was just eating ice cream. She loved her that much. And we'd spend Christmases together and birthdays at the Olive Garden, and it was just the love and the time that we had together.
It's hard to pick just a single memory, but I remember several years ago when Deb and I, along with Bob and Dot, would get together. We used to like to play cards, and we played canasta well into the evening, and we had a lot of fun. And of course, Deb and I usually won.
My grandma's hugs were really special to me because I would sit on her lap and she would be really comforting to me, and sometimes my mom would drop me off at grandma's house and we would sit at the computer on her, and I would sit on her lap and she would give me a hug and tell me how precious I was to her.
My mother was a very important person in our lives. To say that she'll be missed is a great understatement. She was not only a mother, she was a friend, an ally. She was everything you could want a mother to be and more.
My mother was born on May 6, 1932 in Kinston, North Carolina. Her parents were Eloise Orman West and Ross West. They were both from that area, and her grandparents were from that area also. My mother grew up in kind of a small town. I remember her telling me she had a pony. She had lots of relatives there, her grandparents, and she had an older sister, Faye, and then an older brother, William, and a younger brother, Fred. She went to high school there. I know she went to Granger High School. She had a lot of fun with her classmates, and lots of relatives in town also, and a special Aunt Mina and Uncle Buck that were just really special to her, Aunt Mina, and they were sort of like second parents to her. After she graduated, she went to the University of North Carolina and took a secretarial administrative course. Then she moved back to Kinston and started working at the Air Force Base there as a secretary, and she said she enjoyed that because there were just very few women and lots of handsome cadets marching by and asking her out and such. She met my father there. They dated not very long, and then went to meet his parents in Evansville, in the Evansville, Indiana area, which is actually Mount Vernon is the town. And I guess he popped the question then, and they decided to get married because in the meantime, my father had gotten notice that he was supposed to get shipped out to Korea, but the guys weren't supposed to get married, so they had to get married in secret, which they did, and then they remarried for the official Air Force documentation several months later. And after they were married, my father was in pilot training. He was supposed to be transferred to Korea for the Korean War. But his class, the Air Force decided would become instructor pilots. So then they went back to the Texas area, Lubbock, Texas, where my brother and I were born. I was born in 1954 and he in 1956. And then they moved around to another town in Texas. And then we were transferred to Germany. When we left there, we went to Reynoldsburg, Ohio. That was in 1963, I believe. I was in 4th grade. And that was a beautiful town and a happy part of our lives. After we were in Reynoldsburg, my father decided to get out of the Air Force, which he did, and we moved to a small town called Monroe, Ohio. While we were there, he came down with cancer and had surgery and wasn't doing well, so my mother decided to move us back to North Carolina, to Greenville, North Carolina, to be with family. And then my father passed away shortly thereafter, and Mom just picked up the reins and took off. She went back to night school, brushed up on her secretarial skills, and ended up, I think, working at the university there for a short while, and then she got offered a job with Burroughs Wellcome, which is a pharmaceutical company. It's now GlaxoSmithKline, I think.
She was a role model for me in her career, in that she always overachieved. She always did a great job, always successfully moved forward, got promoted, always did her best, and always studied hard, worked hard, and she was a great role model for me in that regard. My mother was a heck of a lot of fun. I can't really describe how much fun I had with her. I mean, it just went on and on and on for years and years and years. I enjoyed being with her. Family holidays, birthdays, Christmas were always very special times for us.
Mother always was very independent. I love that about her. She didn't sit around and whine and cry that she couldn't do something. I mean, she might ask for help because everyone needs help sometimes, but she didn't. She would try to learn it. When she moved down here, she took computer classes. When she lived in Greenville, after I left, my brother was still there, so she got to see my brother. And then when he moved away, she would do things with friends, and I never heard her complain. She was always busy, or she just liked her private time reading or watching TV. She didn't need to have other people entertain her, and she didn't depend on entertainment from other people to make her life rich. Although we communicated frequently, and we both loved that. That was a blessing, and I guess we were sort of best friends. She did have a love of dogs. I think she had a love of grand pets. Greg and I found a little dog named Travis when we were visiting with Nancy and her husband Dan and their family when they lived in Fort Worth, Texas. That was back in 1985. And Travis came home with us as a puppy, and he was just wonderful, but spoiled, very smart. He loved his grandmommy. And if she wanted to go out on the back porch sometime, she'd go, "Travis, do you want to?" And he might be sitting on the floor. He'd just get out and go with her on the back porch, and they would hang out, and then they would come back in. And
I think that she always wanted a grandchild, and when Alina came into the family, that was the grandchild that she had been looking for, and Alina was very special to her, and I'm glad that she came along to be able to do that for us.
Somebody coined a phrase once and told her she had a marvelous pixie-like quality, which she did. And she just didn't like to think old, she didn't like to look old. In fact, people had a hard time believing that she was 77. She was just a lot of fun, had a lot of snap and interest. She thought about others a lot, and was very caring and supportive.
There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about her. And we had a tremendous amount of fun together. She was an incredible person, and I wouldn't take anything. I wouldn't want another mother. She was the best mother I could have ever have had.